I grew up in a family along the river. And our land was condemned by the federal government, taken away from us.
This has been a fight for my people, for my family, for over 100 years. It's devastating to know that my parents watched that decline within their lifetime.
Boy, this is hard. I didn't realize, sorry. So we lost our lifestyle, we lost our home, we lost our sense of place, and it was for a dam that was gonna flood our land. And so when I hear about the challenges faced by the tribes and native communities here, it really hits home with me.
These dams are still functioning, providing hydroelectricity, but they haven't been updated with infrastructure that allows for fish passage. This violates the treaty that my tribe has, as well as the Endangered Species Act and the Clean Water Act.
Toxic cyanobacteria builds up in the reservoirs and then gets transported downstream and then becomes an issue for wildlife and humans and anyone who comes in contact with the river. And so that's been a problem that's been plaguing the Klamath for a long time.
Having a toxic watershed, I mean, tourists don't want to come and swim in a toxic river. The locals don't want their children swimming in a toxic river. At one point I did live in Alaska and I saw what a salmon run was supposed to be like. There were so many fish that you could catch them with your hands.
People made a living off that salmon for thousands of years, and all that went away when these dams went in. Our oceans are dependent upon these fisheries. All the predator species that used to be here were dependent upon those fish. And the forest, the trees, that was fertilizer coming up the river every year and fertilizing our forest. That fertilizer is gone.
We lost our farm, and the federal government took it, but now it's a national park. It's Delaware River Water Gap National Park, and now it's protected and conserved for generations in a way that I remember it, which really is kind of cool.
The River Management Society is gathered here to recognize and celebrate the pending removal of the Klamath River dams.
We're connecting and sharing information on the status of the project, policy elements going on all around it. I gave a talk on restoration elements of it, and then just connecting with other folks that all have the shared common interest of protecting the watershed.
There will be 286 miles of unencumbered river from Keno Dam all the way to the ocean. And right now there's only very small portions of that river that are used by whitewater boaters. And there's going to be amazing opportunities on the inundated reaches and on the bypass reaches.
We're going to take 14 students all around the basin for 2 weeks, teach them about the ecology, natural history, have them participate in restoration projects, do some rafting and snorkeling, looking at salmon, and really just give them a good idea of the history and cultural importance of the Klamath Basin.
We're so humbled to be a part of it. We know that this has been people's history for thousands of years. We know that there's, over 30 consulting firms, agencies, tribes that have been working for this directly in the past 30 years.
This is a huge moment in history, one that people like my dad didn't think would happen within their lifetime, and yet did decades of work on creek and river restoration and advocacy for our river and our peoples.
To take a watershed that has been managed and degraded and valued, whether it's gold mining or alfalfa, agricultural, or whether it's ranching, or timber. These are all important aspects of utilizing the natural resources, but at the same time, it has to be done sustainably. So Klamath can be a demonstration of that.
One of the things I've learned in many, many dam removals that I've been involved in is we are always very surprised at how quickly sediment moves through the system, the river begins to stabilize geomorphologically, and vegetation starts to grow.
When the dams come out and the river starts flowing naturally again, we're not going to see the algae blooms. And so we'll have areas to go to where people want to recreate, where they want to go swimming, where they want to go fishing.
One of the things we see is when these projects are removed, new opportunities emerge, the river's healthier, and there's opportunities for communities to engage with these places.
The fishing will bring in tourism. The fishing will bring in jobs because you can be guiding fishing trips and things like that. You could be harvesting fish. People all over could come here to see what a healthy salmon run could look like.
Klamath Basin is an important basin in the history of river conservation in the United States. We are poised to remove not one significant dam, but 4.
I think that taking these dams out will change things for the better in ways that we don't quite understand yet.
It needs organizations like to bring coalitions of interest together to work on a collective vision for the watershed and its restoration. So tribal interests, preservation interests, conservation interests, but also the economy and the livability of the communities here and the quality of life along the Klamath is what is at stake.
I believe after restoration and recovery, they will look back on this and say, you know what? This was a good thing for us. This was healthy for our society and healthy for our ecosystem.
We do river running exchange programs with youth from around the world from either impacted or endangered riversheds by hydroelectric dams. The Paddle Tribal Waters program, where we're going to be getting 16 Klamath tribal youth trained up in hardshell kayaks to be able to do the first descent or the rescent of the freed Klamath in 2024, 2025. We hope that this moment in time where the world is going to watch the largest dam removal in history happen, that these youth can be centered and the traditional ecological knowledge systems that they represent for their communities can be centered in the outdoor recreational space and show what responsible land and water use look like for the future of the river.
What's interesting to me is to see this place 60 years forward. I was only 8 years old then, and now seeing it sort of opportunity to restore a place to what it was is extraordinary.
You cramp my style. When you clear cut the forest, it's like pouring dirt into my home. When you clear cut that forest, it's like pouring dirt into the middle of my home.